You disappear. Because that's what you always wanted, and now you have the money. Herman always had a grin on his face anytime someone called him by his rather auspicious nickname, Herman America, especially when I was around to see it. He knew it pissed me off. But I guess it was sort of a private joke between us. And it was, but a private joke that didn't amuse me until about 3 days ago. And it still doesn't. Someone would start in with the Superman thing. It's a bird, it's a plane, no it's... And I jump in with, no, it's an asshole. Able to be a tremendous asshole with very little effort. But of course he was really charming all the time. It was his best act, getting along famously with all walks of life. I used to tell people if they liked Herman, not to worry. You just have to get to know him better. I want to express the general hypocrisy of the advice book and cite a few examples of where he purposely lied his ass off to make a buck. If you have it with you, you can read along. And if you get the picture from the examples I'm going to cite, if you think you understand the kind of advice that a guy like Herman lives by, as opposed to the kind of advice that sells, then you can probably reinterpret the whole little book on your own. All amazing 126 pages of it. Every big printed word of it. I'll make this quick and easy. I'll spell out a piece of advice that he gave in the book, and then I'll tell you the advice he would actually think is valuable on that particular subject. The advice he'd give himself. I'll do them in sequential order, but I'm going to skip most of them, obviously, because to repeat the whole book would be a travesty. And secondly, because I think it will only take a few to illustrate my point. And I'll warn you now, in real life, I don't think he's a real fan of cuteness. I can only imagine him in great pain spending the time he did, albeit probably not very much, writing this stuff down. It's nothing less than totally absurd. But somehow he knew. He knew that he knew what he was doing. He knew there was money to be made and how childish it was. Well, maybe he just got lucky. But don't doubt for a second that he didn't know he was selling out in the worst possible way. I guess he figured he was safe as long as he put the picture of his grandfather in the back instead of his own, playing off that old second childhood thing. Like I said, I'm bringing him in. This is his initial appearance in front of the grand jury. This is when the judge explains the charges brought against him. This is when the judge explains the charges brought against him and informs him of his rights. The first quote is a charge, and the second is the judge, me, explaining the illegality of it for the benefit of the courtroom. So goes Herman America's international bestseller, Laws for Good Living.